you know, there are certain things that are really a pain in the neck, and I can imagine, and luckily this never happened to me yet, that lawsuits, and we're going to talk about identity theft here. That can be a huge time waster. It could be a huge force of negativity that just saps your energy, holds you back, distracts you from your business, your career, whatever you're doing, and just costs you a lot of money. So Sue Moulton is someone I know from Concord through some networking. And she's really well read on the subject of keeping your identity safe, and she works as an independent associate with a company called Prepaid Legal Services. And Sue and her husband, business partner Steve, have been helping families with their unique services for the last 3 years. And basically, they offer affordable access to attorneys, identity theft restoration to families and small businesses. And they're independent associates with Prepaid Legal Services, which is a 38-year-old company on the New York Stock Exchange. So anyway, I know Sue is very knowledgeable in this area. She spends a lot of time researching it. So let's start off talking about identity theft. Where does identity theft start?
It can start in many different ways. Most people think it's only financial, but we really have 5 areas that we need to worry about.
Right.
Your Social Security, your driver's license, medical, and criminal character, and financial. Somebody can get a hold of your Social Security number and they can be working under your name and you won't even know about it.
So someone can actually work under your name?
They can use your Social Security number.
Can they work under your name and then send you the check?
No. They would work under their Social Security number, and you would never know about it until today's times you get laid off and you go for unemployment purposes and you go and make a claim, and all of a sudden they say, well, you're denied benefits. Why am I denied? Because it's you're out working 3 other jobs. And you say, I just got done being laid off of a 30-year-old job.
Like, listen, buddy, you're driving a taxi, you're working at the Wawa. No, but
exactly. That's how there's a guy in Massachusetts that had 7 people working under his name, and he was not able to get his unemployment benefits until he clarified all that.
Wow, 7 people working under one name, and you don't get any of the money.
Exactly.
What a deal for you, huh?
You'll know about it also if the IRS gets a hold of you when you don't report the full income, that all those numbers on your Social Security number at the end of the year.
Let me ask you, let's try to get to you don't have to be a forensic psychologist here, but what is sort of the, beyond scam, for whatever you want to call it, what is the major thought process, motivation behind working under someone else's identity? How does that benefit the person that's perpetrating the act?
It's just another way for them to have access to the employment without having to worry about the taxes, because it's going to go on somebody else's Social Security number.
Okay.
So they can get paid the wages, and they're not going to end up having to deal with doing the tax return at the end of the year. And if they didn't pay enough taxes or anything like that, the other guy is going to get stuck worrying about that has the number that they use for the Social Security.
Is it hard to find these people and put them away? Is that why it's so important to be proactive about this kind of stuff?
It's very hard, and usually I think the statistic is 1 in 700 that they do will ever fully go to jail or anything like that. The rest of it end up off on misdemeanors or other type of stuff. So it takes a lot to get somebody to go to prison for the hardship that they've caused to somebody.
Is it because it's so personal that it's not like a crime against society, and that's why it's not pursued? Like, what do you think?
It's just, the fact is it's so broad and it's happening so much that there is no real way out there for anybody to stop identity theft.
Gotcha.
And that's the reason why they're trying to make people aware that it's going on and how serious it can be, and that you need to find ways for yourself to put some kind of plan in place, because there's no big plan out there that can take care of everybody.
So let's talk about this. These data breaches, because obviously it starts at the level of a breach in data. So you said that in 2008 there were 90 major data breaches. We should define major in a second. And in 2009 there were 656 major data breaches. How are we defining major?
What it is, it's big corporations, governments, different corporations, like TJ Maxx. That was a major data breach. That they get a hold of get into the computers and were able to get all the credit card numbers for all of the clients that ever bought from the store
via credit cards.
Right. So what they're doing is they're not worrying about you and me as individuals. That's only one small portion. They're looking for getting into the computers of big corporations and going in and getting all that information at once.
They're
and
looking for whales,
times.
not minnows, right?
Exactly, because they can sell that one identification number multiple times to multiple people and get paid every time they sell it to somebody else.
Gotcha. Okay. So because of this big growth in breaches, what are the areas of identity? So you say it's driver's license, Social Security, medical, Social Security number. Are they all lumped together? Like people are going to do it, is it always going to be a combination, or are they going to be one or the other?
It could be one or the other. But if somebody gets a hold of your information, then they could work on all 5 areas of your identity. They're looking mostly for the Social Security number to start with, or somebody's medical card information, because they don't have health insurance.
Right.
They want the benefits. So if they get a hold of somebody else's medical card, they can go in and use the services. First of all, if they do, their blood type, their allergies are going to go on your name, but with their information.
Right.
This way here, it's harder for you to, and it's not good. If somebody puts their blood type in and you go in, you can't talk to yourself when you go in for a medical emergency.
Oh.
That's not good. Doesn't mix.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's pretty scary because most people have this probably this notion in their mind. It's only the financial side where someone's taking out credit in your name. Is that like the most common?
That's the most common. That's the one you hear the most about, and that's technically fraud.
Right.
Because if you find out about it, say you get your credit card statement, and if you make sure you monitor it, and if anything shows up that's not yours, you need to call the credit card company and say, "I want to
You mean like a
dispute
fraudulent
this."
charge? Right.
Yeah, that's basically what financial is.
And what about people actually establishing credit in your name? Because in a fraudulent charge, a lot of us have a credit card company that will say, listen, I know as a merchant, you bat 50-50 as a merchant, meaning if a customer says, hey, this is not a legit charge,
Mm-hmm.
then chances are you're going to lose 50% of the time, even if it was legit, unfortunately, right?
Correct.
So I know credit card companies really do protect, but what about the other side? Because we want to talk about preventing that. Of where someone literally establishes credit in your name. Maybe they go buy a car or a house, where like almost starting from scratch. Is that a combination of Social Security number and then financial data?
Yeah, it could be a combination of both, because if you go buy a vehicle or buy a house, what do they require? They do require your date of birth, your Social Security number, and such.
Right.
So they would use more than one at that point to make a new the person exempt with your information.
Okay. And you say it stays on a credit report for 10 years? Is that
No, the 10 years, that's when we offer our services. We start at a base, and that's what we do is we go back 10 years to see what's out there on the individual person.
What are some of the, let's give listeners some tips, beyond the, shred your papers. We've all heard that. Whether we do it or not is a different story, right? But, as I said, we all kind of walk through life in sort of a hypnotic trance. So a lot of times, this stuff doesn't come up on someone's radar screen until it happens close to home, or God forbid it happens to them. But what are some steps that we can take? Of course, as a shopper, we can deal with a website that encrypts secure servers, encrypting, things like that. What are some steps people can take to protect their identity?
Like I said, make sure you shred anything that comes in, especially those credit card offers where they're offering you, because if you don't, somebody can just take that and go to the bank and put their name on and change your address. You would never know that they used it because the bill's going to go someplace else.
Right.
Don't put your mail in the mailbox even if you still live in a rural area. Drop it in the closest mailbox that you're going to drive by.
So don't put your mail and flip
with the football, because that red flag is not only telling the mailman that you're sending mail, it's telling an identity theft that there is bills in there which would have maybe a credit card number, all that kind of information in there. So you would never know that somebody's drawn by and pulled it before the mailman picked it up.
Right. So that really is a red flag.
Exactly.